Hey, what's happening, wrestling world, wrestling nation? How is everybody today? I'm here with another amazing high school coach in our country. I'm trying to branch off a little bit. I know I do a lot of Florida because that's my home and that's what we're putting on the map. But I'm starting to get some people from outside of our state as well. Let's put everybody on the map, right? So I've got assistant coach Ed Paladino. Uh, are you ready for it? I want you to say this name 4 times fast. Chattahoochee High School. I got it. I practiced that. He was a veterans bronze medal at the World Championship. Uh, excuse me. He was a state placer in New Jersey, a Region 5 champ, 2-time district champ, Middlesex champ, JUCO champ, USA Wrestling Collegiate All-American, a Valley National champ. He did a lot of shit. I can't get through it. He was a good wrestler. So we got him here now, and there's a lot more. Look him up, Ed Paladino. He's got a lot of cool stuff. Plus, he has a great foundation that he does for children, and we'll talk about that. And how are you, Coach Paladino? Thank you so much for coming on. You may be my first Georgia high school. Yeah, you're my first Georgia high school to talk to. I did talk to some of those, the Omi Acostas and those guys out there.
Nice.
But welcome, man. Talk about life right now, man. I know it's kind of tough to be a wrestling coach.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's definitely interesting times. The last couple of months have been kind of, hands off. We've been just trying to get a lot of training in, and it's been kind of interesting to say the least. But we got a lot of athletes that we're out there working. We're doing a lot of stuff at home, and I work with some older guys too. I was trying to get John Hanrahan on here. He had a prior engagement, but he's one of one of our board members for AFC. But yeah, we're all just trying to get through it. I think we're kind of on the tail end of it.
Yeah, it seems okay. I had Coach Cody on, who is involved in FAWA, I guess it's called, and then but I guess he gets all the USA Wrestling stuff, and he shared the different phases. And I don't know if you saw him on, but he spoke about like we're in phase 3 right now and trying to progress. But I'd imagine all you club coaches and head coaches and assistant coaches are getting those same emails.
Yeah, it's as far as like just where we are in that phase. I think Georgia is one of the first states I think that we kind of ramped up real quick back in April, and everybody was kind of like, "Whoa."
Well, it is the hub, right? I mean, Atlanta is the hub of the world, man. I mean, everybody goes through that airport.
Yeah, I mean, it's Delta's hub, so everything really does travel through here. So it's still, we're still a little kind of like hands off. I think some gyms are starting to open up a little bit, so it's nice. I haven't been on the map in like probably 2 months, man. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah, I think there's so from the people I've been talking to, and I guess I talked to some people now, so I can say this, right? But there's 2 spectrums, right? Like there's like, okay, we're open, start the camp, everybody sleep over, let's go, right? And then there's the other side going, holy shit, don't you think that's a little too soon? Like, shouldn't we wait till like the end of July to do these things and maybe slowly get people back in the gym, slowly figure this out before we put 250 kids
in
the same room? So I know there's a lot of kind of that going on. Like, they open the doors, so now let's go, or?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, it's hard because you got 2 factors, right? You got the economic cycle, and so you got obviously parents want to get back to work, and open up, and then you got from an athletic perspective, we're all kind of leery as far as how many people do we get in one room, because you get one kid sick, and then all of a sudden, I mean, a wrestling room, we try to keep it as clean as possible already. The last thing we need is one guy getting sick and then spreading through the entire camp.
Forget that. All you need is one parent in your room doing like, it was your fault you killed my kid, or it was your fault you got my kid
Oh
sick.
yeah.
It's your fault that my kid got this. And the hardest part of this whole thing is you don't know if you have it or not. So, I mean, how do you even, I mean, you can test a kid right there and everything's good, but he might have underlying symptoms. So I guess that's kind of the whole freak outish kind of thing. But anyway, man, how do you like Georgia? I know it's a big, it's obviously a different speed, Alpharetta, Georgia, than New Jersey and New York and Philly and that tri-area there. Chattahoochee wrestling, man. How many times have you had to write that down, and have you figured out an abbreviation to put that on paper before you have to do that all the
I'm
time?
not gonna lie, man. Sometimes I look down and I just make sure I have enough, you know, like when I put it in there.
I think I have it written down 3 times on my sheet, and each time it's written down, it's spelled differently, I think. I don't think I spelled it the right way once. I've got 2 T's, 1 T, 2 E's. I just was like, I don't know what I mean.
But it's, you know, it's Georgia's been great. Definitely a little slower paced. The nice thing about Georgia is you kind of have everything. You know, you got the ocean, right? You got Savannah over there. You got the lakes, mountains, and you got a lot of transplants, man. There's a lot of people from up north. I think I rarely see anyone that's actually been born and raised in Georgia. So that kind of it helps me out a little bit, especially with my New York accent that I have sometimes. And I tend to talk really fast, so I have to slow myself down sometimes, especially in practice.
You're the only guy in town that's beeping the horn.
Dude, I stopped doing that like the first 2 years I was here. I just stay silent.
Hey, son, this is Georgia.
Oh.
No good there. Oh, that's funny. Well, man, talk about your wrestling program there in Chattahoochee. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you took over in 2015 as an assistant coach.
Yeah, well, I started coaching the youth program in at Hooch, we call it, and from there I was an assistant with the high school guys and just working with the high school guys. Then I took on a head coaching position at Alpharetta High School. And Alpharetta, Johns Creek area is kind of where Chattahoochee is. They're all just phenomenal schools up here. I mean, the kids are just very bright. The educational level is, I mean, they're like blue ribbon schools, which is like the top schools, you know, just top schools here in Georgia. So there's a lot of pressure on the academic sense. And just from a wrestling perspective too, we have a great channel of different high schools and different programs that the kids are kind of, you know, funneling through. So when I worked the youth program, it was great to get back in with some of the younger guys, you know, and I love kids. So for me, I'm very dynamic and demonstrative, like when I do stuff, and I tend to smile a lot. You know, I try to make things fun, so I fit in really good with the young guys, and the kids are just awesome, man. And then when I went to the high school, I kind of bring that same kind of energetic, kind of fun way of doing things, and I have a really strong technical background, so I think, you know, as coaches, and I've had some phenomenal coaches, you know, and I don't even consider myself anywhere near some of the top coaches that I've had, like Mike Mockles from Missouri Valley or Scott Becker from Middlesex, even through high school too. I mean, just great coaches. But you know, teaching technicals with kids, I think really goes a long way, because kids tend to not trust, you know, in kind of the process and their, you know, body movement and how to follow through a move. And then when you show them something, you walk them through a move, and then they're like, "Holy cow! No, I did an arm spin. It's amazing." You get a little more credibility with the kids, you know, so it makes it fun.
Yeah, and that arm spin, I was watching. I don't know the first thing about it, by the way, but I was watching these wrestling matches come up on my YouTube page, and I was watching 2 guys, and it was it must have been a USA freestyle youth tournament because they were kids, but high school size kids. And the one kid, you could see him, he kept trying to set up that, what do? You're like this, and then you try to go opposite arm, and then you try to set it up. Well, every time he'd go for it, it was like the kid knew it was coming, and the kid would just pancake him right on his back.
Oh man.
And then he would try it again. And this is, I think this was like #1 in the nation in high school versus #4 in the nation in high school. But every time the kid would go for that arm spin, it was like the other kid felt it coming, like they had wrestled before or something. And he would just boom right down. I was like, how many times are you gonna try that? I mean, you keep getting caught and pancaked, and he's like, try a different move, dude.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like wrestling the same guy multiple times, man, that is the hardest thing to do because you get to feel each other out. You know what's coming. You got the setups. You know what how they're setting up. It's so you know an arm spin's coming, man. They're gonna block it.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching. What was it? Was it Burroughs and Dake where they had to go 2 out of 3,
Yeah,
go to the Olympics or something, and Dake got him in that first match, but you could see the adjustments that Burroughs made, especially in the third match. It was just like he had total control. But you could kind of see the things happen there. But talk about athletes for children. What is obviously it's a foundation, but why was it created? What does it do? And how does it work?
yeah. So athletes for children. I was in corporate, almost my whole life. 15, 16 years solid corporate. Started in New York. Ironically, wrestling got me the position. Good friend of mine, Charlie Tagliarini, got me in with a corporate company up there in New York.
Nice.
And wrestling's always somewhere in there. Like you always know a wrestler in corporate America. But then, I had 2 amazing young boys, Jacob and Christian, my total life. Just working with, being a dad and seeing how this happened right around the time I was the head coach for Alpharetta High School. And, I give credit to all the high school head coaches out there, college head coaches. A lot of people don't realize how much time gets put into that. It is nonstop. And as an athlete, I gained a whole new level of respect for head coaches. The dedication, the commitment that goes into it. And then, having my 2 boys so late in life, just working in the community with certain people, got to see a lot of kids kind of being left behind, with certain things. Unfortunately, there's always that element of mental illness and where, some kids get sick, and unfortunately how cancer affects kids. It's, it's something we don't talk about a whole lot, sometimes I think we're scared to. So I started Athletes for Children. I worked together with John Hanrahan. That guy's a legend. Speaking of phenoms, that guy's just unbelievable. World champion, he beat Putter from South Africa, 10-time world champ.
Wow.
Crazy good. Penn State, I think he wrestled at Penn State, and the guy was just unreal. But he's on the board with me and Eric Cluck, and he's a 2-time national veteran champ, wrestled out in Michigan. And we kind of put it together. We all have this passion for kids, and we love athletics. And I think for all of us and all athletes, I think we go through struggles, when we go through college, high school, we always have these obstacles kind of get on our way. We learn how to kind of get through those. And for me, athletics has really been the catalyst to kind of forming who I am as a person. You get to learn a lot about discipline. You get to learn about how to be humble, how to respect others, especially, when you start to realize that you don't know it all. You don't have all the answers, man.
I'm surprised they teach those things in New York and New Jersey.
They do. It's hard, when you're an athlete and you achieve a level of success, I've seen it happen too. You got kids that get that first taste of success, and then you get a little cocky, you start to, you need that loss to kind of dial you back in, to realize like, hey, there's going to be someone out there working harder than you today. And, you don't know it all. And that's where I really had some great coaches, that really, I took everything I learned in wrestling, and it, wrestling is life, you hear that a lot, and it truly is. And with Athletes for Children, working with John and Eric, we wanted to put something together where we can kind of be a voice for kids, and we can use our athletic platform, specifically with wrestling, and use that as a channel for kids of all causes. And that's kind of what makes our nonprofit very unique. You know, we're 501c3, but we're non-cause specific.
Wow,
So
yeah, I've been involved with Make-A-Wish now for like
oh yeah,
6 or 7 years. So yeah, we do our big kind of like the anchor event is the Wishmakers Ball. So that's kind of the big event. And it got delayed because we're going through this, but we're supposed to be doing it still in April. I think April 19th or something. But yeah, man, I you know, it's a great time, and it's probably one of the best parties that goes on. However, for the first like 2 hours, you're in tears. Like you're watching the kids that come up, you're watching the stories, you're watching the people in the room, you're hearing success stories, you're hearing, and I think what a lot of people, I think the misconception with like a Make-A-Wish or maybe even an Athletes for Children is that these kids are terminally ill and they're not going to make it. Yes, there are terminally ill kids. Unfortunately, there are, right? But there are kids that fight this and they win and they get out the other end. And when they're Wishmaker parents or Wishmaker kids, and they're out there going, wow, you know, if I was a kid in Wisconsin and they picked me up and took me to Disney World, and just because I got to meet Mickey, I get to be, it helped me live another day and live another day and live another day. Or Athletes for Kids. I mean, I got to, whatever, who knows, and your level, the kid says, man, I was ready to check out. And then I got to meet Yanni D or something. And they're like, wow, that made me get another week, get another week, get another week. And then guess what? Those weeks got me cured, you know, and then now my mind is different and I'm out there fighting. So it's crazy. Not all these kids die, thankfully, and they're not all going to face that ultimate unfortunate outcome. So, but by what you're doing to get somebody, it's faith, right? It's like they say, okay, wow, if that guy came to see me, if Donald Duck wanted to meet me, like, you know, like it's like I got to meet Donald Duck. And of course, when they're older, they're like, man, that was just Susie from the break hall. I didn't know that, but to the kid, it's Donald Duck, right? And you're like,
big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, man, I got to imagine those kids' faces when they see whoever you bring in the room to meet them or get to roll around with them or do anything, man. That's special. So good for you.
Thanks. And it's been great. I think, you know, with this whole COVID pandemic, you know, we had to realign. We were self-funded for about 2 years, you know, before we started really going out for grants and stuff. And, you know, this kind of hit us at a really bad time, you know, just getting everything going. And we kind of put some things together from a mentoring perspective. And of course, you know, we're all doing Zoom these days, right?
Yeah.
Asked me like 3 months ago what Zoom was, I would have no idea.
Oh, you should have seen my first interview with NATO. I was like, am I live? Hello, am I live? Working? Hey, I'm live. That was me. I'm like, okay. It works.
But yeah, we kind of like adapted, you know, and that's kind of what wrestlers do, right? We adapt, and we created some good mentorship, like mentor programs, to where we have athletes that volunteer their time, you know, to kids that are either going through some trauma in their life, and we create these Zoom meetings. Even some young athletes in high school that perhaps, you know, especially this time being so isolated, you know, there's been a lot of issues with that. So we have some athletes that are providing this, and we partnered up with some counseling groups here in Atlanta, and we just give those kids a little hope, you know. And when they talk to an athlete or a fighter that's, you know, on the Bellator circuit, or you see him on TV and then he's right there on the camera, you know, it's just huge for these kids.
Yeah. So, well, when do they break out that big water slide in the middle of the city?
Oh, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, I think things are.
Wow, yeah, I wonder if they'll do that, this year? Because I know that's got to be fun. Have you gone down that thing yet?
No.
No. Me either. But I saw people go down it. I think did my kids go down it? They might have. We went up there one year we went to the Seaquarium. We did like this whole thing where we drove to Hilton Head, spent a few nights, and then we went out to Savannah, spent a few nights, and then we came into Atlanta. We went to the Seaquarium, got to see Coca-Cola,
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
and did kind of that whole little thing, and then we drove back home to Orlando. But it was pretty cool. We stayed right down the street somewhere in there, and we walked down. But you could see this, man. That slide took up a whole city block. It was pretty dope. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder how they're going to do that again now with all this COVID stuff, right?
yeah.
So, man, I know you pretty much touched everything I would have asked, right? I know that you've seen Georgia wrestling grow in the last 5 years since you've been there. I mean, and where do you see Georgia wrestling going? Are they on the uptick? Is there a lot of youth programs opening up to build kind of the grassroots? You being a New Jersey kid, obviously that's New Jersey, Pennsylvania is like wrestling when you get your bottle in your hand. So coming down to our southern states where that's not the case right now.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I was a late bloomer, man. I didn't start wrestling until I was a freshman in high school. So Coach LaSalle caught me in the lunchroom. That's when he's like, "How much do you weigh?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" like what? But that's, but you're right. I mean, kids start real early up in New Jersey and Pennsy, But I'll tell you, Georgia is really impressed me. We got invited to the Pittsburgh Classic for the first time, I think, in 50 plus years as a state. And I managed to go with Coach Don St. James and John Hanrahan. I went as an assistant for Team Georgia. And we brought a team there. That's when USA Wrestling picks up, wrestles against WPIA in the Pennsylvania All-Stars. And it was just an amazing experience, but it's a good telling sign as far as where Georgia's headed. Just getting invited to that. So that's like the pinnacle event in high school. Just to get to see, you got these guys that are coming in with like 200 wins and like 2 losses, just crazy, like unbelievable talent. I got to meet Spencer Lee that year, and Austin DeSanto, and those guys were on the Pennsylvania teams. So it was really cool to kind of see those guys even progress through college now. But I think Georgia's up and coming. We finally got some good. What's that?
And they're together on the same team.
I know, man. It was crazy to see them, man. I think Spencer was a captain at the time because his knee was still hurt coming off state. But yeah, I think Georgia with our college programs here, man, like Reinhardt. I mean, those guys are just doing some really good things and opening up. We're getting some good talent in, and I think it's starting to grow. You got women's wrestling too that's going real good.
Are the girls sanctioned in Georgia?
As far as like wrestling for
the high schools?
Yeah, we do have some girls that actually wrestle. I don't to be honest, like I don't know for sure as far as the details and the specifics of that. I do know that they have their own state. We handed out medals. That's when I met John Hanrahan back about 5 years ago at the Georgia Dome. But it's, I think women's wrestling is growing like tremendously out here. Some of the female athletes we have are just, you're kind of like scared to roll with it because they are tough, but we definitely see it on the youth level, a huge growth. Morris Wrestling here in the Johns Creek area has been really good. That's predominantly where a lot of people go, but you'll see a lot of girls coming out for wrestling, and they kind of mix in with mixed martial arts too.
Do you come down to Florida for any tournaments? There's the knockout that happens down in Orlando, which is really big.
That's
and there's also one that happens probably closer to you. I just spoke to Coach Crowder yesterday, and he has the Capital City Classic that happens over in Tallahassee that's been going on for like 25 years. So you have that, but the knockout is, man, it's growing. There's teams from all over the country coming into it in Orlando.
Wow.
Some good tournaments, man. Like, bring your kids down. Come to Disney.
Bring some Georgia kids down there, man.
Come down. Georgia comes down. Do you come down to when the Disney duels?
I don't, man. I haven't. To be honest, I haven't been down to Florida for wrestling a whole lot. You know, try to. It's tough with AFC. We're staying up here, and we have a farm up here in Gainesville, Georgia, where we're really starting. We want to get some wrestling camps get together for in the next few months, and get that going. But I know just surrounding Georgia, man, it's big down south, man. I'm trying to bring all that New Jersey wrestling down here, but
Yeah.
I think it's its own.
Here. That's awesome, man. So, you ever go up to Blue Ridge?
Yeah.
Wow, place is awesome.
I got a friend of mine who handles a whole bunch of like lodging and cabins and stuff up there.
Really? I'll have to hit you up because we did a cabin up there. I forget where it was. It was right outside of Blue Ridge, and it was our first time there. But what an amazing town! We had
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, and they had this. Man, I had some really good chicken wings there. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was really good. Like grilled them and then fried them and then grilled them and something. I don't know. So you got like that crispy, but also that caramelization. You're like, yeah.
Oh, it's too good, man.
I'm not cutting weight.
It's hard to watch your weight down here. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, food's good. All right, are you ready for this?
I think.
Nathan's or Sabret's?
Oh man. So Nathan's is Coney Island, right? And
Yep.
I was born in Brooklyn, so it's got to be Nathan's.
Gotta be Nathan. Pork roll or country ham?
Country ham. I'm Southernized, man. I'm a Georgia boy now.
Oh, Southernized. That's funny. New York cheesecake or Georgia peach cobbler?
I'm gonna lose a lot of friends right now. But it's gonna be the cobbler.
I know. All right, here we go. Six Flags, Georgia or Coney Island?
Oh, I'm definitely losing friends, man. It's gonna have to be Six Flags.
All right. A Jersey beefsteak or a Philly cheesesteak?
Jersey, man. You can't ask a Jersey boy that. That's
Yeah. Let's see. Apples or peaches?
Oh, well, yeah. Georgia peach, man. Come on.
Alpharetta or Woodbridge?
Oh, that's striking in the heart, man. But I'll tell you what, my kids are here in Alpharetta, and they are Alpharetta boys. So I'm growing two Alpharetta boys.
32 or Fargo?
Fargo.
Live goes or clinics?
Man, I'm clinics, man. I'm technician.
Yeah,
Technicals are everything.
High school scoring or NCAA scoring?
NCAAs.
Nice. How'd I do? Did I pick up some of your areas there in those 10 questions?
Yeah, I think I alienated some friends though, man.
Yeah, I've been trying. I started last month. So I've always been doing 10 questions. But they were kind of monotonous and same one. So somebody was like, hey man, you keep asking the same question. I'm like, it's wrestling, right? So then I sat down, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I think it'd be cool if now it just gave me more work, right? Because now I have to, okay, it looks like he's from New Jersey, went to school here, is in Georgia, so now I got to figure out some different spots, right? But I've started to do that for, each person's area now, like
nice.
questions and stuff. So it's been cool. Like, who did I have on last time? Oh, I had Coach Tim McGuire on, who is starting Shenandoah University wrestling out of Virginia. And he's starting the program. And so he's from the Chicago area, like Chicago, Milwaukee. So I was like, Chicago dog or New York dog, right?
What do you say?
Chicago dog. So over there, so I was like Portillo's, Aromas, Luminati's, Giordano's, Cubs or Brewers, that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to get stuff kind of around the area and things like that. So it's fun, man. This has been great for me. I'm learning so much about wrestling. I don't know how I'm just me. So like usually like I go to club practice and I typically like sit in the truck and it's my time. I put a show on and let my kids go in there and wrestle. Because I've learned my lesson about trying to stand there over them. They get mad. So
yeah.
So I'll sneak in once in a while, kind of see what's going on. I'll catch a mover here and there, but like, I don't know what's going to happen the next time I walk out there. And after I've done all this, right, people are going to be like wanting to talk to me. I'm gonna be like, oh man, I got to come out.
It's tough being a wrestling dad. It's. I'll tell you, my boys are about to be 7 and just turned 5 yesterday. And when we wrestle, I mean, right now we're real low key. Like, I just want to go. I want them to go out there and have fun. But I can kind of already see they're like, Dad, I got this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I learned, man. I'm like, I'm not the coach for them. Like, I'm definitely not going to coach.
Yeah. So I had no idea. First of all, do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
Look up the Twinjas, Twinjas.
Okay.
They're Johnny and Oliver. They're 7-year-old twins, and their dad is a martial arts teacher, but their dad started their foundation as wrestling. So they have some really cool videos on there. I got to have them on the show because I saw it and I IG'd them and they were like, yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, all right. So, but it's pretty cool. They're like, you got to put your arm here on the elbow and then you duck here and you grab, but it's cool. You'll
Nice.
Obviously appreciate it because that's what you do. So that's pretty cool. What were we talking about before that? Oh, coaching as a parent. Woo,
Yes.
I'm getting old. Can I get another drink, honey? No, I don't know. But yeah, so I was working full time the first, whatever, that he started this the first year or whatever. And then I got out of it. So then last year was the first time we did something off season. I got to travel with him. We went to a camp, App State camp. And every time he'd come off the mat, I'd be like, hey. So finally he's like, Dad, you got to leave me like the F alone for after I get off the mat. Okay. And I'm like, too soon? He's like, first of all, I'm shaking. My adrenaline's going. Whether I win or lose, I don't want to talk to you. Just give me 10 minutes and leave me alone. So I'm getting parented by the kid. Like, it's like, hey, so I'm learning how to adjust to being a wrestling parent, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I got it. So you need 10 minutes. So at 11 minutes, I can come and talk to you, right? He's like, I'll come talk to you when I'm ready. I'm like, all right, I got it. But I guess you could understand that, right? I guess when you're done with the match, you don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, the psychology behind it is pretty profound. I mean, because you got athletes, obviously kids want to impress their parents, their dads and moms. So it's tough because somebody's going to lose, right? And I think every wrestler out there goes out there and like, man, I could have done this better, and so they need that small little window of time
Yeah.
to kind of take it all in, And sometimes parents get a little, we get a little too amped up about it because we see our kids out there.
Yeah, like he got beat, and I want to go like, it's okay, buddy, it's all a process. You're doing okay. Process. You didn't lose, you learned. You didn't lose, you learned. You're going good. And he's like, are you effing kidding? Like, really, Dad? Like, I got it. Leave me alone. I didn't learn, I lost. It's not a process, it sucks. Okay, just leave me alone. But later on, he'll be like, yeah, I understand what you were saying now, Dad. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like pre-dad for me, I never got it. Like how parents were so now as a dad, totally get it. Absolutely get it.
Yeah, I had, I don't know what I think Brian Stout yesterday, and I asked him, and here's a guy, 4-time All-American, 2-time New Jersey State champ.
Yeah.
Or his, I think his last year, he didn't give up a point in high school, like not one point. So another one of those Jersey studs like yourself, and incredible, right? So I asked him, I go, what's coaching or watching or you on the mat or your kids on the mat? He's like, my kid on the mat by far. I shake, I move, I feel like I want to be there, like I can't help myself. And I'm like, all right, now so I guess making that transition from athlete to parent, you're like, oh, totally different.
It's tough, man. I mean, and my kids aren't even competing yet. And when they're out there, you kind of rolling around, you're like, whoa, no, it's like, watch that.
Yeah, I was talking to, I have a ref that comes on Fridays. And he said, I do not ever, I try my best to never ever go ref youth tournaments, like the youth tournaments, like the little guys. And then I was like, really, why? And so he sends me a video, like video after video, and it's like the mom pulling the kid off the other kid. No, my son's no, yeah. And he's like, and then the parents are going at it, and the police are in the. And he's like, that's why I don't do that. Like, at least at high school, there's some arguments, but it doesn't get, there may be some bullying and pushing into chairs, but they're big enough to know kind of when to stop. But when the parents are fighting over the kids, I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah. I've seen some parents are like run across the mat, like right in the middle of a tournament. It's like, oh.
Did you see that video that was out where they showed the dad like tackling the other kid? Like, I guess
Yes.
the kid picked his son up and slammed him, and he came around the mat and just tackled him.
Wasn't that pretty recent? Like this past year, right?
Or something, but like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to see my kid get hurt, and I don't want to see anybody drop on their head, and I don't want to see, but there's got to be some sort of self-control, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're parents and we're adults, right? Our kids model us, right? So we have to definitely, that's where wrestling comes in really good for us, because we have a lot of discipline,
I'm going to make a manual of all the things that you need to call the ref or the other coach when you're on the other side of the mat. No, that would be a little manual. Like,
I'll tell you, like as a coach too, like sometimes you get into a match, and it's funny. When I was a head coach, I remember we were at a tournament, and one of the refs was like, "Get in your corner." I'm like, "It's a circle."
It's a circle.
Come on. But he started laughing. I was like, I was just joking around. I was like, I'm sorry, you're right. Because I'm part Italian, man. So I'm like,
the other day, and I had Cipriano on the ref, and somebody said, ask Cip about the locked hands he called on the kid that only had one arm. And Cip's like, that's not what happened. He had a nub, and he was locked onto his nub. It was underneath that. And people are like, how'd you get locked hands there, Cip?
As long as it touches, man.
No, you can't touch it. So pretty funny, man. This has been great, man. I'm really glad you came on. I'm glad I got to meet you. I'm glad I got to talk to you.
You as well. Thanks.
On the other side of this, I get to be out and about with my sons and go into different camps and things, and hopefully we'll cross paths and I'll get to see you. And come on anytime, man. You have my my link. My cell phone number is right on my page, Ward Wrestling Live. So if you haven't joined it and liked it and followed it yet, please do.
Awesome.
The video is on Ward Wrestling Live also. So please go and share it with all your groups or whoever you want to share it with. Or
yeah, would love to.
I'd love for you too, if you would, but either way. And then I'll throw it on the YouTube channel.
Sweet.
Once whenever I'm just sitting there going, okay, I need to do something, I'll take them off and I'll throw them on YouTube also, so that we'll have a little bit more platforms. But please like and share my page, share your video, and obviously keep doing what you're doing with the kids.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. And thanks for all you do here, man. I think this is great. It gives us an opportunity to kind of talk and still stay involved.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, I've talked to people that tell me that they'll put me in their ear, like they know when I'm coming on. They'll put me in their ear, even though they can't watch it. At least they're hearing it. So I don't know. I got to figure out a way. I'm kind of figuring out a way right now how to. I guess there's tools out there where you can you take the video and you put it into this tool, and it tears out just the audio, so that I can then maybe put this whole thing on like Apple Podcasts or something, so that people
that's cool.
Have somewhere to go to just listen to the thing. So I don't know. Each step is a new step for me, but I find out these things because people are like, hey, have you done this with it yet? And I'm like, no, I'm just talking to people. So then I built a page, and they're like, okay, what are you doing next? I'm like, I don't know. I've got another appointment tomorrow. I'm going to talk to people. Try this. Okay, I'll check it out. So I kind of learned that way, I guess sooner or later. I actually finally ordered a green screen.
Oh, nice.
I got to that point where, almost 100 shows, I'll attempt to do something. I'm sure I'll totally screw it up. I'm going to try to put something back there, but we'll see. I try it here, but you'll see like, it like takes me out of the picture. I'll go here. If you try, like, look, you can say you're at the beach. Oh, you got to download it. Download. See?
Oh yeah.
You can be like, I'm at the beach, but I don't have a green screen, so it comes like all over me. So I'm like, look
That's
the
awesome.
So I guess I guess I gotta get a screen, and then that kind of makes it work. I look like I'm scary, right?
You
Hello.
look like a zombie, man.
Yeah, crazy stuff, man. So that's kind of me. This is me. I like to have fun. I'm not that guy, right?
That's awesome.
No professionalism here. I'm just me.
Just throw it out there, dude.
That's all right. As a guy from the Northeast, you understand.
Yes.
We are professional in the Northeast, but we know how to not be and have.
Yeah, you got to cut it up, man. You got to be able to laugh and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. I remember. I mean, I have some stories from up there, but maybe that's for off of the air.
Yes.
I remember I went to like Willingboro, New Jersey once, and we were in Philly, so we used to drive to like Trenton and catch a train out of Trenton into Manhattan. As
Oh,
kids,
nice.
my wife and I as kids, right? So like you'd get to see some grade A choice people.
Yeah, New York was fun, man. I loved working there, you know. I
I
don't think I could
love
live
New York.
there.
I love New York, but the best is just the people watching. Like there are some characters, man, and it's like you get on a train and you can people watch. It's like being at a ball game or something. But you get some good stuff going on down there. But I do love Manhattan. I love New York City. I've got my aunt and uncles all live up there, so love them. And it's a cool town. Are you Jets or Giants?
Oh man, I bleed blue, man. I am Giants.
Giants, nice.
New
And
York
Nets or
Giants.
Yankees?
Yankees.
So are you Nets or Knicks?
Knicks, man. 'Cause I used to work right across the street from the Garden.
Oh,
So
nice. That had to be cool.
Knicks and Rangers, you know.
Yeah, the Rangers are cool. My uncle Mike Deutsch is an NHL agent up there,
Oh, no kidding.
so he gets to go all around the world and check out these hockey players. So that's pretty.
That's
cool.
awesome. I used to get tickets all the time for the Knicks, you know, and Ranger games. It was just love working in the city. I mean, you never know who you're standing next to either. I mean, you could be riding the train and like some celebrity that you see on TV.
Yeah, I remember going to visit my aunt once, and we're walking down the street, and she's like, "Hey, that's this person." And I'm like, "Who's that? Where?" Right there. I'm like, "Oh, wow!" Like, I don't even know, right? It's cool, man. Hey, this has been fun, man. We could keep going. We could probably talk forever. I got Philly stories too, man. We can keep going.
Dude, I could talk, man.
Me too. That's probably it. Could be my at times it's a good thing and a bad thing because
Right.
some people are like, all right, I want to talk to you now, but then I don't want to talk to you anymore. So we've reached that threshold, sir. Talk to me or not talk to me. So we'll go ahead. But anyway, man, please share, please like, please send any of your friends or family or wrestling community over to me, refer them to me, and let's get them talking. Let's get some more Georgia blood on here. I'd love to have them.
You got it. Absolutely, brother.
All right, man. See you.
Thanks, man.